Twice the Man, which is the Bet, Book 3 by Stephanie Barr. As if breathing in her essence woke her, Rem felt someone stir against his chest. How did she always end up curled on his chest? He didn't know, but he loved it. "How are you feeling?" he managed to ask, hoping he hadn't blasted her with his death breath. "Could you just kill me?" "No can do, beautiful." And that was something I thought I'd never say. I'm not beautiful, but given what happens to me when I open my eyes, I don't suggest you find out for yourself. "I don't need my eyes to know you're beautiful," Rem said, chancing a little squeeze. "I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but I don't feel up to flirting, or fending off flirting, or, in fact, breathing. Flirting is the best reason I've come up with since I woke up for breathing, though I have morning breath that could kill a badger boar at 10 paces. "Not true," she said, stirring in a more determined way and levering herself into a sitting position. "You'd have to get, I don't know, within an arm's length." Rem chuckled and then used his free arm to grab at his head. The pain had not abated one iota. "Rem," Cinda said, lowering her voice to an intent whisper, "try to teleport out of here, now, while no one's watching." Rem, who had still not opened his eyes, used all of his consciousness to visualize Syl and will himself there. The pain neither abated nor increased, but he went nowhere. He willed himself to grow, to become his other form. But if there was even the slightest change, he could not detect it. "No joy, eh?" "None at all," he whispered. "What now? I'd ask my talent, but I don't have one anymore." He felt a slap on his arm, hard enough he opened his eyes without thinking, then reeled a couple of moments. "Don't you ever," she hissed, "talk like that again. If you start moaning that you're worthless, I will totally lose my temper. I can't shift into anything, and I haven't exhibited even one tiny talent. But you think I'm worthwhile, and you're right, because I'm smart and capable and don't just curl up and die when challenged, and neither do you. Last time you had an impossible problem, you developed a new talent instantly. Not that I'd turn it away today, but say that doesn't happen." "You don't understand," he said. "Yeah, boo-hoo, grieve later. We got stuff to do. Gonna give up, let the bad guys win, fall all to pieces just because you're down to the same set of tools the rest of us humans have? If you do, I'll know your tolerance of humans was a lie from the beginning, as well as every word of aberration you've ever given me." "That's not fair. I've heard you and Xander say that no one is superior to anyone else, that there isn't prime and subprime, and, I presume, humans a step below that. If you truly believe that, you need to snap out of it. I get that losing a super cool set of tools to play with is a bummer, but we don't have time for that. You have all the gifts of the smartest humans I know. Use them, and let's figure out a way out of this mess. And yes, that may mean never getting your powers back. I promise, if you help find a way free, I'll let you wallow in your disappointment for 2 whole weeks, but only when we have time to spare." Rem put his hand over his abused eyes, but he lifted it to regard Cinda through one eye. She really was wrong. She was still beautiful. "If I come up with a way out of this and it works, will you take my interest in you seriously? Treat me enough like a grown-up that I have a chance to woo you?" "Woo?" She went into a peal of laughter. "We're surrounded by hostiles who have purged the magic out of everyone. We're facing death, torment, or enslavement, and you want to woo me? What better time will I ever have? I'll tell you what, lover boy, you figure a way out of this and make it work, and I'll totally date or go out or whatever you kids call it these days. I'd seal it with a kiss right now, but I think the state of our mouths would kill us both." Since they were both sitting, she was within delightful reach. "I'm willing to risk it." He slid his hands up her arms, and to his intense satisfaction, she blushed. But then she pushed his hands away. Come on, woo later, solve problems now." "Aw," Denai said, obviously enjoying the romance. "Silly kid." Rem chuckled, and given how protective Kurt was of her, Rem figured she'd find out about romance firsthand soon enough. He sat back against the corner of the wagon, pleased that the horrific after effects of the dart were starting to recede. Or maybe it was Cinda. Either way. "Well, we don't have the upper hand." Rem looked through the wagon sides, counting wagons and what people he could see of the natives and the exiles. "Looks like there are more of us. Everyone from the upper camp and most of the crew and teachers from the lower camp, as well as the Bet that were there and the older teenagers. Probably 200 of us versus 100 or so of them. If there aren't any more in hiding. Probably half are sleeping while the rest keep watch. I don't think any are missing, or not many. Looks like most of the exiles are here, so they're about half native and half guys we kicked out. But then there are the wolves, and I think that's their biggest advantage. That makes escape challenging as well as being a physical threat. Also, we've been drugged and we're still disoriented from having our skills ripped away. They are armed and know the area, which we don't, so the advantage is still on their side. And they can communicate, whereas we can't. Plus, they're ruthless while we still have our humanity, Cinda added, a little grimly. It surprised Rim. She was usually pretty tolerant with different cultures, but she looked positively murderous. Perhaps the double dose of Dart had seriously impaired her good nature. Most likely her antagonism wouldn't last, but she had it now. That's not always an advantage, Rem said. People who think like a sword tend to A, think of things in terms of black and white, and B, think everyone else thinks the same. No nuance. Nuance can be useful. Cinda took in a breath and released it carefully. Sounds like something I would have said myself. You're too smart by half, lover boy.